Reactions Matter by David W. Searcy, Jr. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share the video. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the content.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Hope y'all had a beautiful Christmas day. We're going to end Christmas Day with a little watching of 100 Dumbest Worker Mistakes, Instant Karma. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Just got done watching the 49ers get smashed by the Ravens. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Whatever. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Like this video. Leave a comment. Share it to the world. Let's dive in.
Hasn't anyone had mistakes, fails, and mishaps at work? Of course, it's happened to everyone. But not everyone failed as ridiculously and insanely as the people in this episode. Paint fails are not uncommon on the road. It happens, for example, as in this picture. However, there are very few such cases. A little more often, you can see something like this. A truck driver crashed into a truck that was carrying yellow paint for markings on roads. Apparently, it wasn't properly secured, and as a result, it spilled all over the road, dousing the driver and his car as well. I don't even know how long it took to remove everything here and then mark the road properly. If the truck had remained intact after such an adventure, it could have been taken to a car wash. The main thing is that it should not be taken to such a car wash. The washerman here is a bit careless. He accidentally caught the rotating brushes and made a merry-go-round for himself. At least he managed to stop the mechanism and keep it relatively intact. Well, the guy wasn't even dizzy at all. I don't know why, but the guys in this video needed to tear it down. I understand that, but couldn't they have chosen another way? I think it was obvious from the start that it was a bad idea. They tore down half the house instead of the chimney. I guess these guys saw that video and decided to tear down the chimney carefully by hand, but as you can see, that doesn't work either. By now, Santa Claus will be able to get into both houses without any problems and leave presents under the Christmas tree. Or maybe that's what the plan was in the first place. In general, all work around the house should be done with extreme caution, especially if it's something heavy and bulky. For example, here a worker decided to cut down a tree and even put a rope around it so it would fall in his direction. But the tree is a living creature. It decides itself where it falls. To break its fall, it decided to fall on top of the house. Actually, while it was a fail, it wasn't that bad. The house didn't even seem to be damaged. But different things happen. In this case,
that was definitely the guy cutting it down wrong's fault. That was nobody else's fault but his. That's craziness.
People also cut down the tree and try to make it fall as far away from the building as possible. But as luck would have it, the trunk falls in the direction of the house. The damage here is more serious. However, it was quickly dealt with. It's great when a person loves their work so much that they can't tear themselves away from it. But still, in everything it's necessary to know when enough is enough and not lose touch with reality. The welder tried so hard to do everything qualitatively that he completely forgot about himself and accidentally welded himself between these railings. It was lucky that the distance was small, so everyone just laughed. This welder is also all about work. He's working hard on welding parts and was welding something there so carefully that he started a fire. Because of the mask, he didn't notice it right away.
How many of you have gotten a guitar, tried to learn, gotten frustrated, thrown it in the...
I also hope it wasn't these firefighters that came to him. These guys couldn't even hold a fire hose. How could they contain a serious fire? Joking aside, you can tell it's just training because everyone's laughing in the background. On a real mission, it wouldn't be fun. I'm sure that in a real incident, they'd do everything quickly and carefully. The work of movers and loaders is one of the
there's
hardest.
gonna crash
All
the
the
truck.
time they have to carry some heavy things and furniture they can't do without failings in such work. Here, two loaders are trying their best to drag a large fridge
Oh no.
onto the porch. They tied it up and seemed to be doing everything right, but the home appliance turned out to be stronger than them that day. I hope that the fridge is not badly broken and it can still be repaired. It's a pity because it's brand new. Perhaps these workers should not have relied on their own strength, but should have used the help of machinery, like a forklift. However, with this machine, all sorts of fails happen every now and then, or rather with the workers. Here, for example, the worker took out a batch of some goods from the warehouse, but incorrectly hooked them with a forklift. As a result, the batch flew to the floor and crashed. Luckily, there weren't that many things, but there are more of them in this case. The worker on the forklift tries to get them out of the truck, and everything goes right, at first. But for some reason, the truck driver starts going and overturns the forklift with the goods. The forklift driver's lucky he was able to jump out, or it could have ended sadly. You know what else ended sadly? This guy's shift. He clearly overestimated the capabilities of the machine he was working on, hooked too much to load, and it predictably collapsed. In general, it's better not to carry too much loads, but to do everything slowly and carefully. Like,
Okay. I used to load stuff on ships. So that guy with the... Yeah, this guy right here. So this guy right here, I've done that with wood before. I've seen it done too. You go to stack some wood 35 feet up in the air and put it down. You try to get your machine out and the whole thing just collapses. Then you spend the next 3 hours cleaning up all that mess.
it's better not to carry too much loads, but to do everything slowly and carefully, like this guy. He takes a little load, carefully lifts it up, and roughly tosses it all into the trailer. It's rough and funny from the outside. No wonder the suspension broke immediately. I just don't know what he was hoping for. Could it have been any different in this case?
No, not in that.
Have you remembered how not to work on a forklift? Then take a look at another anti-life hack. Here, the man is already working on a manual stacker and unloading the truck. As you can see,
Oh shit! That dude went flying. Oh,
it was unsuccessful. Either he thought he had enough strength to hold a huge load, or he just didn't notice where the edge ends. But the main thing is that he managed to brace a little and even got up immediately, which means he didn't get serious injuries. He should have done it differently. Either wait for the truck to get as close to the unloading platform as possible, or get down and carefully lower the load using the mechanism. That's how this worker did it.
Oh no. Oh no, this...
However, even here it was not without a fail. The descent turned out to be too sharp, the load got caught and broke. And all in front of the man who ordered it. Yeah, that's him behind the camera. It must have been painful for him to watch it. It seemed to me that the worker treated his task somehow carelessly. He didn't even apologize for the damaged goods. I'm glad that there are completely different employees who, on the contrary, try to deliver the whole product to the customer with all their might. There's a whole element against this worker now. There's ice on the street. He can't get up to the door, so he pushes off from the car and rolls the package to the customer in an epic way. In fact, there were no fails here, just funny situations. Kudos to the delivery man. Let's support him with likes. Let's support this guy too, as an advance, just so he doesn't get discouraged about being in our fail compilation. Someone ordered a bunch of items in Amazon, and the guy decided not to make a few trips so as to not waste time. He put all the packages together, picked them up, and predictably collapsed. It seems that this waiter had seen a trick from the Amazon delivery man and decided to do the same thing with beer. However, beer in glass glasses is not the same as light boxes. Poor guy couldn't hold the whole alcohol pyramid, dropped and spilled everything, and even doused several guests with beer. I'm sure that guy was very embarrassed and ashamed afterward.
Shame. Shame on you. That's called alcohol abuse.
Shame.
But you know who's even more embarrassed? This waiter. He had the opportunity to serve Angela Merkel, the former Chancellor of Germany. But from excitement, he poured beer on the head of the country. It makes you cringe when you imagine yourself in that poor guy's shoes. But the main thing is that Angela reacted normally, and her beer didn't go anywhere. In different pubs, you can often see the epic work of bartenders. How they toss glasses, mix something, flip something. It looks mesmerizing, but what about the complete opposite case? This guy also wants to look aesthetically pleasing, and he even pulls off a few tricks. But overall, it's one total fail. He spills everything, drops it, and mixes it with water, so you can forget about the drink. But from the looks of it, the guy's only a novice bartender, so he's still got a long way to go. Alcohol fails are some special. Why not look at a few more? There's an employee stacking bottles at the checkout lane. I think everyone already realizes what's going to happen. The only question is where it's all going to fall. Those who predicted that the bottles will fall forward, congratulations. You're real clairvoyants and magicians. And if that's the case, use your magic to get a few $1,000s for the guy. He's gonna need it to cover the damage. This one's a little more complicated. It's clear that there will also be fallen bottles, but what will happen? Nothing seems to be going to fall. In general, nothing.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me this whole shelf is gonna fall? What does it look like it's gonna happen? I don't know. Let's check it out. Oh my goodness.
Portends trouble. The worker carefully places the goods on the rack and doesn't touch anything, but apparently he had overloaded one of the shelves before that, and all this beauty fell, forming a whole wine sea under it. It's creepy to even imagine how much money the store owner lost. Maybe someone can't just work with alcohol. Alcohol just doesn't accept them.
Holy shit.
Like this
Yeah,
girl.
no doubt.
Ridiculous
Exactly what he
mistakes and
said.
alcohol-related fails happen to her all the time. She drops bottles, she drops boxes. I'm telling you, she just can't handle her alcohol.
Oh my
All right,
goodness.
let's leave the alcohol alone. There are other videos worth checking out, like this one, for example, which was captured on CCTV. The garbage truck driver had just one task: carefully hook up the dumpster, shake the contents into the car, and put it back. It would seem impossible to screw this up, but here's what happened. For some reason, the driver thought that all the garbage will fall out in 1 second, and then for some reason he jerked the container very sharply in the opposite direction. It's good at least he didn't drive away, but went out to clean up the mess. After all, there are some irresponsible workers in the world.
Good job,
Like
buddy.
these ones. Throwing trash around isn't so bad. What's worse is getting cement all over someone. That's what the driver of this cement mixer did. It's unclear how, but cement started pouring out of his car right onto the roadway and other cars, as the author of the video says. Everyone's honking at him, but he pays no attention to anyone. He's not even gonna stop. Either he wanted to avoid responsibility, or I blame him for nothing, and it was impossible to stop the cement
can you
process.
imagine?
If you know it, make it clear in the comments. Let's look at some more heavy equipment. This time we have a dump truck. It's full of gravel. And now it unloads all this stuff at the destination point. It unloaded so much that it got tired and immediately fell to sleep. Joking aside, it's not as easy a job as it may seem. As you can see, things happen. But as far as I know, the driver was
all the
not
dirt
injured,
went
and
one
that's
way
the
or
main thing.
other. Oh wow.
One slab, a truck, 3 workers. All they have to do is carefully slide the slab into the back of the truck, and that's it. But even a task like that can be screwed up. Let alone the task, they also broke the goods they've been assigned to
Holy,
deliver.
that's
The guys
marble.
should have played it safe and put some things on the sides of the body to soften the impact. Or something to make the mission a success.
No, fail.
These workers did exactly that. They installed pipes to carefully lower a round concrete pipe off the body of the car. The chance of failure was minimal, but as luck would have it, the stand fell just as the concrete pipe was rolling. And of course, it immediately crashed. Well, at least it was a hilarious moment. It's not just a construction worker, a loader, or a delivery man who can make a terrible fail. A reporter can do it too. This one. He came to interview the man who built a huge Jenga in the form of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The creation's amazing. The guy must have spent a lot of time putting all the blocks together in such a cool way, but he made it into this episode. That means his Jenga is gone. The reporter accidentally hit the structure with a microphone wire, and the whole thing collapsed. Even if it was staged, it looked realistic. But this next video is definitely not fake. It just makes it funnier. A SWAT team member breaks through a door, which...
Wait, stop, bro. Oh my goodness. Look, how long it took to put that together? And then in one fatal swoop, somebody comes and destroys it? Oh my goodness. Oh no, 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 no. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's horrible.
Even if it was staged, it looked realistic. But this next video is...
Wow. That dude put a lot of time into that. Look at him. He's just like, oh no.
Definitely not fake. It just makes it funnier. A SWAT team member breaks through a door, which easily opens in his direction. Okay, maybe the guy was just trying to show off a little bit. Who knows? But now SWAT's on a real mission. They need to catch this man. He runs into some warehouse and there's nowhere to hide. It seems that he's doomed, but suddenly he decides to hide in a corner, covering his face with some object. The special forces come in, search all around, and they didn't find the criminal. I can't believe it, but that stupid trick really worked. I thought that only happens in cartoons.
Oh my goodness.
And here's another escape. Can't you see it? It's right in front of you. As it turned out, this pickup truck was going to be taken to the impound lot, but the driver ran after the tow truck, waited for a moment, and jumped into his car. He tried to drive away and escape, but the car was securely hooked to the tow truck. The guy ended up making things worse by damaging the body and suspension of his pickup. He's probably going to get in trouble with the police, too. And the tow truck drivers should be more careful with such persistent drivers. I'd like to believe that this is this guy's first day on the job, because that's the only way to understand his fail. He's working on a sewage truck, the one that collects waste.
What could go wrong with a guy working on a sewage truck? Nothing.
In the sewer. He hurried and disconnected the hose from the waste pipe ahead of time, and as a result, now everything's in sewage. I wonder how he cleaned it all up afterwards. And I wonder how long did the employee then wash off all this filth? You can find lots of videos of people delivering packages on the internet. No, I'm not talking about the ones you've already seen today. I'm talking about the ones who throw packages on the porch and generally don't treat them with care. It happens on a larger scale, like at the docks unloading containers. A worker somehow improperly hooked the container, which caused it to fly down. At least it didn't hit someone's head. Here's another fail. They tried to remove the container from the truck with a crane, but as you can see, it was a little unsuccessful. Either it was attached to the truck badly, or the crane operator overdid it. In any case, the container managed to be picked up with fits and starts. By the way, this moment reminded me of the mission from GTA 5 with containers. Not everyone is waiting for GTA 6, but more people are waiting for robots to take over the world. Lately, this is becoming more and more believable when you see how technology, neural networks, and other things are developing. But don't worry, this video will calm you down and convince you that the rise of the machines will not be soon. This is a hot dog machine. The robot has to fill a bun with mustard and ketchup, place it in a special tray, and put a sausage inside it. But the robot fails to cope with this elementary task, and the guy gets only the sausage. And even without a bag. As long as there are robots like this in the world, I'm not worried about them taking over the world. Yes, ridiculous mistakes at work are not only made by humans, but also by machines. What did you want? We live in the 21st century. Let's get back to people. We're on a construction site, and right now these workers are trying to install glass in a new high-rise building. It's a pretty ordinary task, especially with a crane helping you. Things can go wrong. A small miscalculation, the glass falls, shatters, and the frame flies down. Now do you understand why construction sites have to be fenced off? Maybe it's better not to rely on any machinery and to rely only on yourself during repair and construction. Just like this guy. He doesn't have any helpers. He even films himself. But still, extra hands would be useful. The drywall was stronger than the young builder. Do you know what a grain elevator is? It's a grain storage facility. There's a lot of grain in there. A lot of grain. How much? You'll see. The farm worker screwed up and the elevator leaked. The tractor's doing its best to hold back the grain, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of it. Eventually, the breach got bigger and the grain sank all over the place. It's a shame for the farmers, but imagine what a freebie it is for the birds. But even more mysterious.
I know about grain elevators. I picked up a little quick job replacing the guy who's going on vacation to drive a grain truck and wound up rolling it. Rolled the grain truck because the brakes didn't work. Do. Insanity. Things that should never happen.
Farmers, but imagine what a freebie it is for the birds. But even more mysterious cases have also been caught on camera, like in the elevator. This mysterious video was filmed in Singapore in 2008. Two office workers were on their way to their workplace on the night shift. When they enter the elevator, everything seems perfectly normal, although there's a small, brief glitch with the security camera. However, when the men reach their floor and get off, something supernatural, like a demonic being, appears behind one of the men. It's as if it comes out of nowhere, as the creature clearly has not been standing behind the worker the entire ride, for the man was leaning against the metal wall of the elevator. You can even see the reflection of his shirt off the wall for the entire time that the men were in the elevator. The creature appears first in the reflection, but immediately seems to follow the unsuspecting men as they exit the elevator. They didn't realize what had happened until the security guard showed them the frightening camera footage. After that, they couldn't recover from the shock for a long time.
Wow, that'd be insane.
The ghostly demon. This video was filmed in Singapore, but in 2020. A woman is riding in the elevator of an apartment building when suddenly she sees something strange. A dark figure can be seen passing by in the glass door. Then this intrepid woman decides to go down the stairs to see what the shadow was. She descends several floors, but when she hears some sound in the stairwell above her, she stops and looks up. And then a terrifying dark figure can be seen on the stairs above her. The ghost moves in an inhuman way down the stairs, following the woman. The latter runs into the elevator, but no matter how many times she pressed the closed door button, the elevator doesn't leave. It seems as if it's possessed by this spirit and won't let the doors close. Then the confused and frightened woman runs out of the cabin, but as soon as she does, she finds herself face to face with that very dark, ghostly figure. The question is what this figure was and how it was operating the elevator when it wasn't around. For more than 2 years, what's happening on this video remains unexplained.
Okay, now, listen here. Now that gave me goosebumps. Could you imagine? You get on the elevator, and, oh my goodness, and you can't get out because everywhere you go, there it is. I don't know. Whew.
This video was filmed in Fuzhou, China.
Chills.
On November 16, 2018, a boy was waiting for his father, trying to hold the elevator doors open. Tired of this tedious process, he decided to take a break and use his umbrella, which he had with him. He failed because the handle on the umbrella was too thin to stop the heavy doors. Suddenly, the elevator abruptly closed and went into free fall. But luckily, the boy was okay.
Free fall.
Fortunately, a rescue team soon arrived and pulled the boy out of the elevator. When the door was opened, the umbrella fell out and the boy was at a loss, not only because he was stuck, but also because he would then have to explain the cause of the accident to his father and the rescue team. The possessed elevator. Surely most people have had that unforgettable experience of riding the creepy elevator in a dilapidated old building when you involuntarily think of sacrificing your own comfort and taking the stairs.
Have you done
This
such a thing?
video will probably convince you to use the stairs instead of the elevator every time, just in case. We can watch a woman enter the elevator, but as soon as the door closes, you can tell by her condition that something's already going wrong. She looks disoriented and depressed. Then she drops her bag on the floor and grabs her head. At one point, she feels so confused that she has to lean against walls and doors for support. It looks as if she doesn't know where she is and frantically looks around. Eventually, she flies out of the elevator and into the lobby of the building, but only makes it to the middle of the room before she falls on the floor. It seems as if she sees or hears something that isn't really there. A little later, she lies down on the floor of the room, and that's when the inexplicable paranormal activity happens. She's dragged back into the elevator she came out of. By the way, all this time the elevator doors were open, as if the elevator was waiting for the woman to fall due to exhaustion so that she could be dragged back. Some people interested in this story have said that perhaps this woman is just suffering from some kind of illness. But then it's strange that before she entered the elevator, she was behaving perfectly normal. And if that's the case, how do you explain her being dragged back into the elevator? Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, everyone who studied the video was unable to come up with a logical explanation for what happened.
There's no logical explanation.
This video shows a terrible elevator malfunction, which fortunately the passengers managed to avoid. Otherwise, the consequences would have been sad. A father and daughter enter the elevator. They look at themselves in the mirror for about 30 seconds, not even aware of the danger they're in. The passengers get out of the elevator, but when they do, it begins to go up again. The door doesn't close, and the elevator rises so fast that the entire elevator car begins to shake violently. Then it stops, crashing into the roof, and many of the panels shift. It's unclear what forces caused the elevator to go crazy, as it was nothing like a normal system failure. This family was lucky to get out of the elevator just in time. Otherwise, it's unknown how such a ride could end. Unstoppable elevator. This footage was taken in Chile in 2014. A man enters the elevator and presses the button to go up. But at that moment, the doors open and the elevator goes up at a very high speed. The man realizes something's gone wrong, so he presses the emergency stop button. But it doesn't work, and instead of stopping, the elevator only picks up speed. The elevator gets to the 31st floor in less than 14 seconds. Meanwhile, the man desperately pushes every button, but none of them work. In the end, the only thing stopping the elevator is the roof. Fortunately, that man's okay, but this video might make you ponder your desire to take the elevator every time. I wonder how far that elevator would have gone if the roof hadn't stopped it. Would it have been able to break through the roof if it wasn't very strong? This has already happened to some extent, and the following video confirms it. Stay tuned to see it.
What?
This prank is funny and scary at the same time. One of people's biggest fears when it comes to elevators is that the elevator will break and fall down the shaft. It's different here. When unsuspecting people enter a seemingly ordinary elevator, it starts moving up. There's a glass window on one side of the elevator that shows the buildings from the outside, but everything is not as it seems. In fact, it's not a window, but a screen that begins to simulate the effect of the elevator taking off. The elevator itself starts to shake to make the effect more real. You can see in the footage that the passengers who are in the elevator are frightened and begin to cling to each other in a panic. It's a perfectly natural reaction, though. Everyone would react this way.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a cat lover, you're sure to enjoy the following video. Cats are known for getting people to do everything for them, but nevertheless, they also like to walk and explore their surroundings on their own. This red-headed cat is so spoiled that it doesn't waste its energy walking up the stairs to get back to its apartment, but instead prefers to use the elevator, waiting for someone to take it. What's even more amazing is that the cat's blind, yet it knows exactly which floor it needs to go to. This video begins with a man getting into an elevator and riding along, waiting for a stop. He can be seen chewing gum, and nothing strange seems to happen until the elevator stops and gum flies out of his mouth, bouncing off the wall and landing on the floor. The man quickly checks to see if anyone's looking at him before picking up and putting the gum back into his mouth. It's not just the fact that he picked the gum up from the floor that's disgusting, but also the fact that he looked to see if anyone noticed it. However, the man quickly realized he was caught on the security camera, and his face looks rather embarrassed afterwards. In addition to elevator situations, we can also look at the elevators themselves. After all, there are plenty of unusual elevators in the world that you might want to ride. Finally, I'll show you 3 of the coolest elevators that are sure to impress you. The Hammerschwand elevator in Switzerland is the highest external elevator in Europe and was built in 1903. The elevator connects the spectacular rocky path with the observation platform on the Bergenstock Mountain, from which you can enjoy an excellent view of Lake Lucerne. Originally, the rickety elevator compartment was made of wood and simple sheet metal. Today, after several major renovations, the elevator has been reconstructed from sturdy metal and glass, but still looks a bit fragile. The speed of the lift has also been increased, and the Hammerschwand elevator is now able to lift passengers to a height of 502 feet in less than a minute. The Bailong elevator, located in China, is also called the 100 Dragons elevator. It's a glass elevator with 3 cabins built on the mountainside in Zhangjiajie National Park. The height of the elevator reaches 1,082 feet. At the moment, it is the highest and heaviest external elevator in the world. It takes about 1.5 minutes to reach 1,082 feet. The pictures of the elevator itself are stunning. Thanks to the glass panels, passengers are given the opportunity to see an incredible landscape of massive sandstone pillars. Since the national park is considered an earthquake zone, the elevator system has been supplemented with earthquake sensors. In case of danger, they should evacuate all people from the observation deck in the shortest possible time. In addition, the Bailong elevator is the most powerful elevator on Earth. Despite the fact that the construction of the elevator caused a lot of criticism from environmentalists, for more than 20 years it remains one of the main attractions of the national park. Sky Tower. This elevator in New Zealand's Sky Tower Radio is clearly not for those who are afraid of heights. The peculiarity of this elevator is that it has a glass door. It's able to lift visitors to a height of 1,076 feet in 40 seconds, and its speed is 11 miles per hour. This elevator even looks more like a kind of an attraction than the usual load lifting machine. Most likely, fans of extreme sports would find such a kind of thrill. That's all, guys. Which of the world's most unusual elevators would you like to ride? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you later.
That was pretty cool. Those were some cool elevators. Which was your favorite one? Leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Yeah, there you go. Thanks for watching. I hope you had a great Christmas. Much love.